Francis has called for Christians, Jews and Muslims to work together for justice and peace. He's in Jerusalem on the third and final day of his Middle East tour, and he's visiting the most important holy sites for Muslims and Jews. He's visited the Western Wall and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Let's go live now to Yolande Nell, who is in Jerusalem for us. Yolande.
Well, that's right. He's been keeping to a packed schedule on his final day in the Middle East. And already we've seen the Pope's convoy pass us a couple of times. First of all, as he was heading into the Old City, you can see the walls of the Old City of Jerusalem just behind me. And that's where he went to the two most important sites in the Old City for Muslims and for Jews, starting at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. He also met the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem there. And then he went to the Western Wall, the most holy place for the Jewish people. When we saw him passing off again, that's when he was heading off to Mount Herzl. This was for a rather more controversial part of his visit. He went to the grave of the Zionist leader Theodor Herzl to pay his respects to him. He is the man who envisioned the creation of a Jewish state. Now, with me to go over all of this, I have Dr. Jeffrey Wolf. He's an expert on Jewish-Vatican relations. And let me ask you first of all, Doctor, I mean, the first part of the Pope's itinerary this morning, what do you make of that? What's the real significance?
There are many levels of significance, Yolande, because everything that a Pope does is fraught with symbolic significance. By going to the Temple Mount, he achieved a number of things. First of all, he made a fundamentally universal statement, because as the prophet says, my house will be a house of prayer for all nations. And the Temple Mount is not just sacred to Muslims, it's sacred to Jews. It is the most sacred place, in fact, in the Jewish religion. And at the same time, it is a place of deep Christian significance, because that's, in fact, where the drama of Jesus' final days began, when he encountered the money changers and he made his final prophecies. So by going to the Temple Mount, he made a truly universal, shall we say, ecumenical statement. By going to the Western Wall, he didn't just pay tribute to the Jewish relationship to Jerusalem, but he did more than that. The truth of the matter is that from the very beginning, Catholic and even Christian theology had said that the destruction of the temple meant the end of Judaism. By him going to the Western Wall, he's saying, no, I affirm, as John XXIII did, and as John Paul II and Benedict XVI, he's affirming the fact that Judaism and the Jewish people are alive and well and valid forms of worship of God. So this is a symbolic action which shifts, a significant shift in the way that the Catholic Church looks towards Jews and Judaism, and towards that it was a very, very welcome gesture. And
we haven't got too much time, but if I just ask you a quick question about the importance of interfaith dialogue. This is something that the Pope is also stressing, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I think that it's marvelously so, because a person of wonderful personality and tremendous scholarship, who's proved the fact that he is able to establish a common cultural language and religious language with other religions, while preserving their and respecting their integrity as separate ways to God. I think it poses, it promises positive things in the
Thank you so much, Dr. Wolf.
OK, Yolande Nell in Jerusalem, keeping an eye on that historic visit there. Plenty more on the upheavals going on as a result of the European elections as well. Stay with us here on BBC World.